me space, I need some time. I might just lose my mind. Been baited by these.
When I care more about how I look to you than I do about the work that I was put on this earth to do, I weigh myself down.
People talking way too much. Never got the body to back it up. Too much trying out here, and it got me feeling funky. Yeah. I don't know.
How could you be in charge of your own destiny if, like something in trading, you're operating in full uncertainty? You don't know the outcome. You can't control the outcome. You can't predict the outcome with any degree of success. But you have this illusion that you could control it, even though the only thing certain on any given market day is that everything is uncertain.
Whew, thank you, Jesus. Morning, friends. Happy whatever day of the week it is, because I don't even remember. It's all a blur. Oh, it's early in the morning. Just got to work and it's mad foggy outside. This weather has really been just dreary, but my birthday's this weekend, so that makes everything great and it's going to be really good weather. But anyways, it's really early, like I said. Let's get some money and then I'll check back in with you guys later. Oh, just finished work. It is time to go home. Oh, what a long day, but a productive day. So that's really good. My forehead is really just really big. It is many, many hours later. It's like 1 a.m. right now. I'm in my pajamas. I meant to film right after I came home from work, but that did not happen. But you know what I said? Let me turn on the camera. Forget what I look like. Forget the fact that the background right now in this room is messy. Forget that my tripod just literally pinched my finger and created a blood clot. Literally, it looks like, I don't know if it's a blood clot, but forget all that. I feel like I forgot to say hi to you guys anyway. So hello friends, how are you doing? Candace B here. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. And I am so sorry that I'm exhausted. I am so sorry that I look kind of crazy, but I feel like you guys are used to it by now. I really do. So I appreciate you for accepting me how I am. I absolutely accept you for how you are. But honestly, I just wanted to film a quick video because I have been using an ICT concept lately. And I know a lot of people will be like, oh, Candace, finally, because so many people have wanted me to watch ICT videos and whatnot. And I'll be honest, I haven't gotten around to doing that. And I'll be honest even more. I don't know if I ever will, but there's one thing that I've been testing out and I've seen a lot of people find a lot of value in this, and that is fair value gaps. And of course, I'm still learning about it. I'm still, understanding fair value gaps, the reason behind them, the significance behind them, and, back testing and all that good stuff. But I did implement it. I think I did implement it correctly, and it ended up making me almost $250. So I'm going to show you the trade that I took and how I used fair value gaps as a confluence. And that being said, let's get into this video. Okay, so I'm on bar replay on TradingView just to show you guys the setup that I took. And I took this on Tuesday, September 23rd. And to be honest, it was a bit of a later trade that I took, but I was really just waiting for my setup to happen. And so essentially, as you can see, when I go to the higher time frames on the NAS 100, we have been creating all-time highs, which has been happening pretty much across a lot of things, gold, other indices. So yeah, so NASDAQ was one of them where we were pushing very, very high up, creating beautiful higher low, higher high structure, absolutely beautiful. And obviously, when you trade all-time highs, you have to be very careful because you don't know when price is going to reverse. So for me, obviously my bias was bullish to begin with, but I didn't want to marry that bias. I wanted to make sure I was staying fluid. I was not being emotional and just kind of sticking with one bias and not being open to seeing if another bias would play out based on the confluences. So when I started looking at my chart on the Tuesday, it was about 10 a.m. and this was what price was doing. So one thing that I instantly noticed was that if you can see when we were creating higher low, higher high structure on the NAS 100, whenever a pullback happened to create a higher low, you see that it was more of a diagonal, and then there'd be a push up. So I love drawing. I don't know why I always do that, but let me just zoom out. So you can see there's a push, a diagonal pullback, a push, a diagonal pullback, a push, diagonal pullback, push. The difference between this pullback or this alleged pullback was that actually it was consolidation. So price didn't pull back as it usually had been doing for the past few, however many days. It actually started moving sideways. So for me, that was a confluence that we might be reversing. We might be heading to the downside. Obviously, the other confluence was that, like I said, we're at all-time highs. My finger hurts so bad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, obviously we're at all-time highs, and so I know there's a high chance of, a pullback happening eventually. And then once New York Stock Exchange Open started, we see that the 930 candle just completely pushed down below this consolidation and broke out of it. So really for me to see, again, keyword me, my eyes, for me to have felt like we were going to continue up, I would have expected a breakout after this consolidation to the upside, a retest, and then a push up, right? Just to continue that uptrend. But instead, what we got was a break to the downside and a pullback to retest it before, obviously, presumably heading down. So that is what I saw here. So those were a few confluences. So I was just waiting to see, what price was going to do, if it was for sure going to start to descend, and where would I enter in that case. So fast forward now to 11:42 a.m. to be exact. I noticed that price was closing very easily, very clearly underneath this zone, this consolidation. So my bias was essentially to take shorts. But what I also noticed, if we delete this, was that there was a fair value gap. If you guys don't know what a fair value gap, look it up, because I can't explain it. But like the way I explain it, oh my gosh, I'm going to butcher this. People are going to come for me. Is that there's like 3 candles, and essentially you would draw a zone between the low of the first candle and the high of the third candle, as long as they haven't like crossed over each other. Yeah, so obviously that can happen in an uptrend. Obviously that can happen in a downtrend. So in this case, I had drawn a fair value gap. It was actually on the 30-minute that I saw it, so it was a bit larger. So I could show you where. So you see this, the bottom of this candle, and then the top of this candle. That is where I drew my fair value gap. But as we just saw, it's on the 15-minute as well. So essentially, I marked that out. I labeled it as an M30 fair value gap. And essentially I was expecting for price to retest this area, and if it rejected it, to push down. So that would be another confluence. Is that the third or the fourth confluence? Yeah, so that was something I was looking out for. So obviously now 11:42, we are tapping into this fair value gap. We are rejecting it. We're also under the consolidation zone that price had created up here. And so I decided to enter a short position. I made sure that my stop loss was above the previous high. So it was above, not the previous high. I made sure my stop loss was above the high of the previous candlestick on the M30. I essentially entered on the M30. I did go down to check the 5-minute, but my entry was basically on the 30-minute time frame. So yeah, my stop loss was above, and at first I had a 1 to 1.5 take profit, but once I saw the potential of the trade, I ended up trailing my take profit, trailing my stop loss essentially, and taking advantage of what the market gave. So as you can see, as price went on, this huge beautiful drop happened at 1 p.m. and it just plummeted. As you can see, price just plummeted down. It was such a beautiful trade. And once price closed below this candlestick that I entered on the 30-minute, I put my stop loss to break even and then trailed it as we went down. And that ended up being about a 1 to 5 risk reward based on where my stop loss was initially. So just beautiful, beautiful trade ending with about $247. And I ended up manually exiting this trade because it was, you know, the end of the day, whatever the case may be. It was such a beautiful, beautiful drop that I just wanted to secure my profits. And we were also coming up to this area here, this support. So I didn't want to, you know, hold on to it and then price reversed. I really just didn't care to do that. But yeah, guys, I'm like, okay, fair value gaps. We can definitely implement this. I forget if I've made a video about looking into this before, because I have heard about fair value gaps and I'm sure I've tried them before. But honestly, using a fair value gap with your other confluences and ultimately with patience, I feel like it is literally a recipe for success. So I'm definitely going to keep back testing it. I encourage you guys, you know, to look into fair value gaps if you would like, only if you'd like. It's not going to work for everybody. What might make sense for me might not make sense for you and vice versa. But ultimately, patience is such an underrated thing when it comes to trading. And it's one of the things that makes all the difference. You know, I've learned that the hard way, trust me. And I still fight those bad habits of impatience. It's something I've been, you know, dealing with for years and years and years. And I feel like I'm finally seeing the light this year. So I'm grateful for that. All glory to God. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you guys stopping by. I'm going to take my butt to bed because I have no business being up this late, honestly, when I have to wake up in a few hours to go to work. So I hope you guys have been having an amazing trading week. And I also hope you've been just learning from your losses and just adapting to improve, because that's all we can do as humans. So I wish you guys all the best. I still can't believe I'm turning 32 in a couple of days. I feel very old, but you know what? It was such a trying year for me this past year around the sun, and I survived it. And that's all I can be grateful for. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of great things ahead, and I hope I'm just prepared for the not so great things. And I wish you guys all great things ahead as well. Have a beautiful, flourishing, fantastic, splendid, excellent day, week, and life.